everyone. I'm Kaylee Hultgren, Content Director for Chief Marketer. I'm joined today by Christian Muche, CEO and co-founder of the event Possible. He's also led sales and marketing teams at AOL, Yahoo, and FIFA. And today we're borrowing him to discuss his role as global president and co-founder of the Possible event, an annual event that gathers brands, agencies, media, tech, and creative folks in Miami each April. This year, the conference is happening April 27 to 29, and Chief Marketer Network will be down there covering the show. So welcome, Christian. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'd love to start a bit with your vision for the event. It's been around a few years, and it's quite successful. I believe you've doubled in attendance in a few years. That's great.
Yeah.
What led you to found Possible, and why was there a need for it in the industry, in your opinion?
Yeah, thank you for asking. Possible is just 3 years old, so we are just organizing this for the fourth time coming April. And obviously, it started sometimes during the pandemic when I was in talks to my network, specifically in the US, with a lot of industry leaders and marketeers. And they all told me that they're missing an event designed for marketing and for marketeers. And then I started to look around a bit, and I found out, yeah, that's true, because we have, I call it boutique events, smaller gatherings for marketeers. But then we talk about maybe 100, 200 people coming together in an intimate kind of setup, which makes highly sense. And then we have these big events going to Vegas every year for CES and others. But these are not marketing events. This is CES a tech event mainly, and so on. So that gave me the confidence, that there is something missing, surprisingly, despite the high number of events we have in general. And also that I told myself something new needs to go beyond just presenting content and networking opportunities. So in other words, Possible was created out of a simple observation. The industry didn't need another event. It needed a better one, which goes beyond that, what I've said. It goes beyond into business, of creating business opportunities. And I would say 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, there are too many conferences. We're just optimizing for attendance and not for outcomes. And people show up, listen, do the network, but they're leaving without a real progress and a real outcome. And this is where we were focused on when we started with Possible.
So how do you facilitate that? How is it important for marketers if they're actually going to an event to actually do business? Why is
Yeah.
it specifically important for that, and how are you making that happen?
Yeah. I think we all agree, marketing, the entire marketing world, and therefore the ecosystem, is becoming much more complex and diverse. So we have many more players in the game than 10 years ago, obviously, in addition to tech involvement. At the same time, marketing is under pressure. Budgets are scrutinized. Expectations are higher, more diverse, as I said before. The pace of change, and especially with AI, is unbelievable. So we need solutions. We need connect people and brands with each other who can help each other in today's business immediately. And this is what I've meant with creating business opportunities, not just coming together and listen to each other, but really becoming part of a conversation and play a role. And this is our approach. Therefore, we are targeting brand marketeers to come together. We're targeting agencies, creative media agencies, consultancies, the creator economy, tech companies, ad tech, martech, everybody who belongs to this industry, whether it's an enterprise, a big company, or a startup. We want to make sure that you are able to meet the exact person, the exact company who can help you to stay relevant, to do better business with your customers, or reshape your organization. What do you have in mind to do it in the best way? And this is what we had in mind. And this is happening every year in April in Miami.
What is new specifically about the event this year, and how is that an improvement, in your opinion,
Yeah.
on earlier years?
Yeah. First and foremost, I told myself as well as my team that we need to review everything, every single detail every year again because of this massive change every year. We cannot, nothing is set in stone, obviously. That's why we adjust things every year. And also we come up with additional ideas to target our audience in a better way. In generally, I would say this year is all about intentionality at every level. Who's in the room, how conversations are structured, are created in the best way, and what are the outcomes we want to create for our audience. That requires a lot of knowledge and insights about people's expectations to come to Miami. It's about the knowledge about their needs and requirements. And this is why we are spending so much resources and time and efforts into connecting the right people with each other. Just one example, we introduced the hosted meeting program, which is called Possible Connect last year. And we will move that setup onto the beach this year. So we're expanding in our footprint as well because we grow further. But it's not about quantity anymore. It's only about quality. As long as you bring the right people in the room, then you grow automatically. So with the hosted meeting program, we are organizing around 3,000 meetings between brand marketeers and the vendors and solution providers. Pre-scheduled, pre-confirmed. They know exactly who they're going to see and meet and what the topic is about. So this is an additional opportunity if you don't feel comfortable enough just to show up and organize your meetings on your own on site. So we are helping our audience to pre-connect or to connect pre-event and therefore have your meeting set up. And this is the highest efficient and the most targeted way to exactly meet those people you need to.
Let's talk a bit about content. What are the key themes that you're seeing? How are you presenting those in your agenda this year? Um, what kind of pops out to you as different this year or evolved?
Yeah. Surprise, surprise. It's a lot about AI. Um, but without stepping into details, it will be covered in many
Hmm.
very different conversations, whether you talk about creativity or conceptual strategic approaches, whether you will talk about storytelling. Of course, it will all have an impact. But in general, I would say the big shift this year is stepping from theory into the application process. In other words, I expect that AI will not be discussed as a tool anymore, but more as an infrastructure for the entire marketing world, whether it belongs to the organization or into the more conceptual work. This is definitely one of the topics. Otherwise, Gen Z is, I mean, this is every day it's a growing consumer base, right? They represent the majority of our consumers already or nearly. I think to better understand Gen Z and their expectations and change behaviors, I think it's still very important. And another very general topic I really appreciate that this is something I see more and more upcoming is a kind of new definition of creativity. Um, Creativity together with technology. Involving the creator economy, which is part of the term creativity, creator, creating content in a more creative way. This all together provides more excitement to discuss and to see the new layer of of creativity in tomorrow's world. So I'm very curious how creative our speakers will discuss this on stage, but also in private conversations. So these three things, I think, as major topics, as an umbrella above everything, technology, specifically AI, creativity, but also, how to further, being efficient. These are the topics, Gen Z, as I mentioned, these are the topics which I expect across the board.
The other thing that I noticed is new is the CMO lab. Can you
Yeah.
talk about that? Who is it just for CMOs? And what do they get out of it?
Yes, as it says, it's a CMO focused new environment. Yes, it's for CMOs, for senior marketeers. Not necessarily only the title CMOs, because we know in some organizations the SVP is the leader of all marketing activities. But the CMO lab is designed as a working environment, not as a stage, not as another stage. It's a small, curated, and peer level environment. There are no panels, there are no performances or presentations,
Mhm.
just real conversations among leaders facing similar challenges. And this is what we've heard from CMOs and from senior marketers from previous years, specifically after last year, that this is what they need and what they want. In addition to be out with all the couple of other thousands,
Uh,
they want to spend more time with each other and have honest discussions, honest perspectives, and sharing more insights. And this happens in a more intimate environment than on a big stage, obviously.
and they can apply to this, or once they register, they can express interest, or how does that work?
Correct, both ways. So I mean, we see who is registered. We know our network. We are inviting senior marketers to this, and of course, they also can apply. Yes.
One other thing I think is new called Big Possibilities. They're your mentorship program. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, this is very exciting because it's not a typical, topic like those ones we already mentioned.
Mhm.
This is part of an initiative. We call it Possible Impact, a broader initiative to combine similar ideas, similar partnerships as well. And Big Possibilities is about access and impact, and it connects emerging talent with experienced leaders, senior leaders, in a very intentional way. And in other words, we would like to support the next generation of marketeers or people who wants and want to step into the marketing world. And this is a cooperation with Big Brothers Big Sisters in Miami. Um, and so we have other partnerships as well. At the end, how to bring junior, younger marketeers and young leaders in the marketing world together, connect them, creating mentorships as well, and make sure that they stay on board and become the next marketing leaders in tomorrow's world.
That's a great opportunity.
Absolutely. And this is, by the way, yes, we talk a lot about, how senior our audience is,
Mhm.
but we never forgot that it's all about the next generation as well. So we bring around 6,500, leaders together this year in Miami. But again, part of them are people who already belong to the industry, but have still the career ahead of them. And therefore, they need a lot of advice. They need support, and vice versa. Senior leaders can also learn from the younger ones, I'm pretty sure.
Mhm. So, when it comes to finding business opportunities at the show for marketers, you mentioned your hosted meetings program. Um, excuse me. How else should marketers be thinking about balancing attending panels, attending events, networking, and taking meetings, and enjoying the experiences there? Do you have any
Yeah.
advice for them?
Well, yes, but at the same time, it's very difficult to give an advice which fits all.
Yeah.
Uh, the reason why we have such a diverse program, but also running different formats. I've mentioned, the big stages where you can listen to keynotes. We have more intimate um, rooms for the creator economy. We call it Creator Economy Academy, Rising Talents, the young ones. I've mentioned this already, where we bring only maybe 15, 20, 30 people together and have a conversation like this. So in other words, we provide various formats where you can choose in between what fits best for you. In general, I would say, especially as a marketer, the industry is changing faster than ever, and you don't want to navigate that in isolation. So therefore, to come to Miami and be there for ideally 3 days, 3.5 days, that's the duration of the event. Um, this is something I would like to encourage everybody to do. And I'm absolutely aware of that asking for people's time to be with us in Miami is the most valuable thing you can ask for. It's not necessarily the budget. Yes, it's as well, but I think time is the more valuable thing if a leader commits to be there with other leaders and with our overall audience, I think this is the biggest ask. And we try to make sure that we provide access. That access the people need, and that access the people want, whether it's to another marketeer, whether it's to a tech company, a solution provider, um, or just sitting in an inspiring environment and listen to other leaders and get a lot of idea out of this. It's all about outcome. It's all about access and connecting with the right people.
One thing we didn't cover that I didn't mention was the Creator Economy Academy.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, can you talk about that and what that is providing for attendees?
right. I mean, obviously, it's no longer a channel, maybe like a couple of years ago when we started to realize the creator economy as a whole.
Hmm.
It's fully integrated, and of course they are the driver, then more or less in the driver's seat when it comes to creativity and storytelling, and they're part of campaigns from the beginning on now, and not just at the end to share the voice. So it's definitely more than a content track. It's about understanding how this space actually works from both a brand and a creator perspective. So again, the idea is to connect the right people, brand marketeers and creators. It brings them together, but not just creators, but also platforms, marketers, as said, in one place. And we want to provide commercial opportunities for both
Hmm.
um, via conceptual ideas, but also matching the right characters, let's say, the right ideas with each other, because each other wants to work with the other side, and therefore this is the idea for the Creator Economy Academy, to focus not all day long, but with dedicated sessions and gatherings to focus on those main two target groups,
Hmm.
brands and creators.
Well, those are the questions I had for you, Christian. Do you have any thoughts, any final thoughts on either advice for marketers attending the show or what they might want to know ahead of time if they're already registered?
Yeah. Well, maybe just one more thought is that be there for sure, but also as a leader, bring your team, right? Bring your manager, director, VP, SVP, whatever the titles are, bring your team, because of these various formats I've mentioned, and there are more which we couldn't cover here in this interview or today or this conversation. I believe that your team members might go into other sessions or have different conversations than the leaders sometimes. And I think that makes highly sense. And it's happening in Miami, so it's in our own country. You don't need to go overseas and pay much more for travel. So it's a cost-sensitive opportunity to get so many outcomes for the next couple of weeks and probably months that you might skip other events in the near future. So that's my advice.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for chatting with us today. We'll see you down there in April. Can't wait for the weather.
Thank you. Thank you. I see
Great.
you all there.